What's up, everybody? How's it going? Austin prechtelevate performance, coming at you live. Happy Tuesday, everybody. All right, it's Tuesday. Yeah, it's Tuesday. How's it going? Hope you're having a good day so far. Today, as you were tuning in, let me know how your day is going so far. Let me know how your day is going. If it's good, bad, I want to hear it. But before we get started on this live, as people start to tune in, feel free to give this video a like if you're watching on a replay, hashtag replay, so that way I know you saw it. But we're going to get things kicked off here in a second. And tag somebody. Feel free to tag somebody in the chat if you feel like they get value from this, because if you are on a weight loss journey right now, you are well aware that sometimes the scale doesn't say what we want it to say. And that can be frustrating. That can be frustrating. And I actually had that happen today, this morning, when I went to go weigh myself. The scale said something that, probably would cause people to kind of like have a little mini freak out or whatever. And initially, when I saw it, I thought to myself like, oh, what the hell? Like, that's weird. That's crazy. Because I was up. I'm up 5 pounds on the scale this morning compared to 2 days ago. 2 days ago, I'm up 5 pounds. And I'm going to tell you guys why I'm not stressed about it at all, like not even in the slightest, and why you shouldn't be either when this happens to you. But yeah, as we're tuning in, I, I just noticed I'm wearing I like this shirt that I got going on. They got my name on my shirt, or they got a picture of me on my shirt, clearly, because I am the party squatch. But yeah, nah. Let's dive into this though. So today though, we're going to be talking about why your weight might be fluctuating when it comes to the scale, what to do about it, and like why you should not stress out about it at the end of the day, because more often than not, we've all been there, right? Just to kind of paint a picture, we've all been there before, where we've been trying to lose weight, right? Or we're working out every day, we're eating healthier. We've got a good plan going on, nutrition or workout wise. We're following it to a T. We do everything right, or at least we think we're doing everything right. And then lo and behold, you go to check your weight like after a week. Maybe you check it on a daily, maybe you check it on a weekly basis. Regardless, you put in all this work, right? You put in all this work, and then you look at the scale, and it hasn't moved, right? Or even worse, or more anxiety inducing, or more frustrating, is it's gone up, right? You've gained 2 pounds, you've gained 3 pounds. Maybe in my case, you're up 5 pounds from just a couple of days ago, and you're like, what the heck is going on? Like, why? Like, I thought I was doing everything right. Like, man, I'm a failure. Like, I should just quit. Like, I feel like crap about myself. Like, oh my gosh, like I put in all this work and I gained weight. Like, what is up with that? And it can cause you to feel really stressed out. It can like ruin your day. I know a lot of people. I'm gonna talk about it in a bit. It just totally completely like derails their entire like day. Like, it throws them out of momentum. It makes them feel like crap. And sometimes it can cause them to shame spiral. It can cause them to be like, what's the point? Like, like it puts them in a success or fail mindset. And that quickly turns from, I'm crushing it, I feel good about myself, to I'm a failure, and I feel like crap. And because I feel like crap, and I'm gonna shame spiral, I'm gonna self-destruct, I'm gonna I'm gonna binge eat, or I'm gonna, it's like, what's the point? And then they quit working out, they quit tracking their food, and they derail their own progress because of this. And so what we're going to talk about today is, my own personal, what kind of happened today, why, my weight was up 5 pounds, and why your weight might be up this week, or maybe it didn't move. And we're going to talk about that today. Because if you don't have this mentality going into a weight loss journey, if you don't recognize what I'm about to tell you guys about, why weight fluctuations are happening, you're going to get yourself into a bad mindset. And if you get yourself into a bad mindset about your weight or about whatever the scale says, you're going to probably fall off the wagon, or you're going to yo-yo, or, whatever, like, kind of worst case scenario there could be is you might quit ultimately. And I don't want that to happen to you guys. I want you guys to be, have a strong mind about this stuff. I want you to have a very, open mind to, not open mind, but just like a receptive mind to what I'm about to tell you guys. Because if you like know about this and know why the weight fluctuations are happening, you're going to be able to, have a stronger, level of like tenacity. You're going to have a stronger level of like resistance to wanting to quit whenever you shouldn't quit at all, because knowledge is power, and the more you understand something, the less likely it's going to like affect you and impact you and put you into that like success failure mindset, which is a whole other thing that you want to get out of the habit of being in anyways. But we're going to talk about specifically why your weight probably fluctuated this week, if it did, right, or if it didn't move at all. And so to give you an example, right, I mean, I've worked with several clients, and I'm working with several clients right now where at the beginning when we first started working together, any like every and over time, right, as long as you keep going at it, it gets better. But at the beginning, for the first couple of weeks, maybe even first couple of months, every week that they would see some progress. But then and especially I work with a lot of women too, especially at least pretty much every month, once a month, or for a week out of every month. If you're a woman on a fitness journey or a weight loss journey, you know what I'm talking about. Because of that time of the month, everything gets like thrown out of whack, right? Everything gets thrown out of whack. You feel bloated. Bathrooms kind of an issue sometimes. In some cases, you might be craving other foods that aren't necessarily conducive to your goals. All this stuff going on. And what happens is, at least once a week, you can pretty much guarantee, especially if you're a woman, your weight's gonna fluctuate a shit ton at least once a week or at least once a month. And so that wasn't always the specific reason why like these fluctuations might be happening in my clients. But whenever it would happen to them, they'd feel like crap about themselves. They'd be like, man, like I thought I was doing everything right. Like I'm following your plan. Like I'm working out. I'm getting my water in. I'm eating like really well. Like I'm doing so much better than I was before before I even started working with you. But the scales like being a freaking jerk to me right now. Like what am I doing wrong? Like, and in those moments, right? There's two paths that the person can go down, right? There's two paths that my clients could have gone down, and it was either give up and say what's the point and quit entirely, right? Or trudge onward, not let it impact their mindset. Not don't ignore it, but like don't put any like mental like bandwidth or energy towards that shit, right? And just focus on the task at hand and focus on the plan and just continue to focus on being consistent with what you're supposed to be doing, right? And it's hard, right? And this is kind of where this is where I think that coaching comes into like a really is really helpful, right? Is really helpful. And I'm not even saying like with working with me or anything, but just having a coach or having a mentor in any sense is having that helpful reminder or having that wherewithal to be like, look, like to have a second set of eyes on like the that's emotionally out of what's happening right now, right? Because like obviously my clients, or any of us, right? Like if we saw the scale fluctuate, we're emotionally invested in that shit. That shit hurts our feelings. That shit hurts our mindset. That makes us feel bad about ourselves. But from somebody outside looking in, like a coach or a mentor, we have and that has been there before many times and understands what's actually, kind of going on, that's, emotionally detached from it in a sense, we could take a step back and be like, no, 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 like, look, like, if you take a look at like your calories and your macros, what you ate this week, if you take a look at the exercising that you've done, it is physically impossible for you to have gained actual fat, right? For the weight gain that you just had that you accrued over this past week, it literally can't be fat because of like the amount of calories that you're consuming and the amount of exercise that you've been doing, right? Like, that's just assuming that nobody's lying, right? But when that happens, though, like, when that happens in those moments, having that second set of eyes and having somebody who's a mentor or a coach or an authority on this subject, it can really help, like, pull somebody out of that shitty mindset, can pull somebody out of that shame spiral before things get bad. And so that's where, I think coaching really shines through. It's, like I said yesterday, like you can give somebody all the information in the world, but if they don't know how to apply it, or if they don't know, how to separate themselves in those moments, when their mindset's, playing tricks on them, when your brain's being a dick to you because, you saw the scale went up when you did everything right, that throws out a lot, it really helps to have somebody to help, like get the red flags out of the way and be like, nah, this shit's like, look, this is the reality of the situation. Your brain's playing a trick on you. It's not, it's more of an illusion than anything. And so, this is where it kind of really comes into play, where it's really helpful to have somebody to like help you through those things and pull you through those like rough patches. And so that's what that's what I, in a sense do in those moments is like, hey, like, you know, like you you have been crushing it. Like you will reap the benefits of the work that you're putting in. It's just right now the scale's being weird. Right now your body's holding on to some extra water. Right now whatever else is going on. And so, in those moments, if those that are able to, get through that, mindset, struggle, they continue on, they trudge on. They're like, okay, yeah, you're right. That makes sense. Like, I'm going to keep doing what I need to be doing. I'm going to keep following the plan. I'm going to keep doing it. And guess what? The next week they're even lower than they would have expected because that fluctuation, was just water weight or whatever, and they were still continuing to make progress with losing fat. It just wasn't showing that on the scale during that time because of whatever fluctuation was going on. And so just remember, in those moments, and then they continue on to make great progress and they break through those plateaus. Like it's a normal part of the process of a weight loss journey. But for those of you right now who are struggling with that, and you don't have somebody to help kind of pull you through those moments, or to remind you and to show you like literally how it's impossible for you to have gained fat that week, and that's just water or food or whatever waste. I'm going to talk to you guys, like I'm going to tell you what that is, and it's just that. It's literally just that, and how to work through it, right? Because those of you that are watching right now, you're probably like at some, like, I guarantee you, at least at one point in your life, if you tried to lose weight or even tried to gain weight, right? Depending on your goals, you've looked at the scale and been like disappointed at some point, where you've looked at the scale and you're like, oh my gosh, like just kind of like the whole scenario that I just kind of like laid out for you guys, where it's like, oh my gosh, like I feel like shit about myself, like the scale's saying not what I want to see. I feel like I feel bad about myself now, and it derails you. If you did everything right, and assuming you have a good plan in place, right, that you're following, and you're being honest with yourself, the reason why the scale is fluctuating is for a variety of factors, right? I'm going to list them off right now, and I'm going to tell you guys what to do about it after this. Water weight, right? So I have my clients weigh themselves at the same fucking time every day, pretty much. As soon as they wake up, they go to the bathroom. No clothes, nothing, because clothes can impact your weight, right? Like if you weigh yourself wearing a big fucking poofy jacket and heavy ass like baggy pants and like heavy shoes or something like that, right? Or boots, right? Steel toe boots or some shit, and you weigh yourself with that on, and then the next day you weigh yourself in basketball shorts and a tank top. Clothes weigh a lot, especially if you're weighing your. That's why every time I go to the doctor's office, I'm like, I already know my weight. This is what my weight is. Like whatever you're gonna have it say it is on the scale is going to be inaccurate because I'm wearing a bunch of clothes or I'm wearing a coat or whatever it may be. Like that shit impacts your weight. It does. And so, making sure that you're like paying attention to that, weighing yourself at the same time every single freaking day before you eat, because like the food that you put in your body doesn't just disappear when you eat it. It's in your body for a period of time. So water weight can impact that, right? Making so first and foremost, weighing yourself at the same time every single day, or week, like that's really important. Making sure you go to the bathroom first. Making sure that you have you haven't ate or drank anything yet, and also making sure that it's the same freaking scale every time, because different scales weigh differently. And so that's another thing too. Is like if you go to a hotel, if you're on a vacation and you weigh yourself on a scale at the hotel, guess what? It's gonna be way off probably compared to the one at your house. It's just how it is. Like different scales, different like situations. If it's on the carpet or hardwood, like all that stuff can impact what the scale says. So that's the first thing. But that aside, the reason that your weight's probably fluctuating like is because of like these like 5 or 6 factors I'm gonna lay out here real quick. Water weight, right? It's almost certainly water or food. But when you drink water, guess what? Like you've got a lot of you can either be dehydrated or overhydrated. But either way, water weight is impacted. Like especially if you're on like if it's like your menstrual cycle or whatever it may be, or if you, and this is another factor here that I'm going to lay out. Alcohol, that can impact how much water you're holding on to. Right? Maybe you had a drink the night before, or a couple drinks. Guess what? You're probably going to hold more water weight because of that. Did you have some salty food, right? Sodium intake, that can impact your water fluctuation, your body, your water like fluctuation in your body, right? So water, salt, alcohol, those things can impact it. Food, did you have a big meal before you went to bed the night before? Like if that's the case, guess what? That food's in your body still. Like some of it got broken down and got used to like keep you alive during the night, but you still have a large majority of that food in your body. Did you have a big meal? That's another thing that can impact it. The other thing, so that's like 4 reasons right there. Another reason could very well be what was I gonna say? Especially waste, right? Have you taken a piss yet today? To just be blunt, when's the last time you went to the bathroom? When's the last time you went number two? Right? Like that is in your body. If it's been a while, if you've been constipated or whatever it may be, guess what? That's going to impact the weight, what the scale says. It's going to cause a fluctuation. The other thing too, and this kind of plays a role in like a lot of these categories that is kind of listed off as to why the fluctuation may be occurring. But if you're a woman, I work with a lot of women. Like your menstrual cycle can play a huge role on fluctuations in your weight. Why? Your hormones fluctuate, which impacts water weight and water retention. You might be craving more carby foods. So maybe you're overeating, or maybe you're less, or maybe you're more sedentary because you feel like shit, because that's what happens during a woman's menstrual cycle most of the time. Feel like crap, so you're more sedentary, so you're walking less, so you're probably holding on to more fluid because of that too. And maybe you're overeating a little bit in some departments, or you're craving more carby foods, which in turn, the more carbs that you eat, your body holds on to water weight because of that. So maybe your glycogen stores are like full again. Like who knows? Like those things all impact it. Another thing too that happens is when that's going on, bathroom problems can occur. Boom. Like that causes weight fluctuations. You're not gaining fat. You're just full of shit or water or whatever or food or whatever it may be. Like at the end of the day, that's what's impacting the scale on those days if you are doing what you're supposed to be doing. So what do I suggest? Right? What do I suggest? Fuck the scale. Like, right? Like, don't worry about it so much. If you know what you're doing is right, don't let the scale dictate your day, right? Start working on like detaching like your self-worth from what like those like three numbers say on the scale, right? Like, and I know it's hard, especially in a society where like everybody gets judged on that shit. I know it's hard, but at the end of the day, like, do you ask yourself this? Like, do you feel better? Do you feel stronger? Do you feel healthier? If the answer is yes, than you had in the past, hell yeah, that's awesome. You're making progress. Like that's where like non-scale victories come into play, and why I think it's so important to emphasize those and to focus on those more than the scale. The scale will come with time. If you're doing the things right that you should be doing, the scale will change with time. But like focus on the things that you got going on in your life that are good right now. That your non-scale victories, like feeling stronger, like feeling more confident, like liking the way you look more, like being healthier, like those sorts of things are way more important than three numbers on the scale, because those three numbers on the scale can be deceiving sometimes. Case in point, I'm up 5 pounds today. I'm probably only up like 3 pounds now, but it's just one of those things. Like over like the course of the day, weigh yourself. Like weigh yourself in the morning. And guess what? Weigh yourself in the middle of the day. Guess what? You're gonna be completely different. Weigh yourself at night. You're gonna be different once again compared to what you were at those different times, because your weight fluctuates throughout the day. Like for all these reasons that I just talked about. And so when it happens, just know that it's a normal part of the process. Normalize that shit. Normalize that, your weight will fluctuate. The scale will fluctuate. Weight loss is not linear. Weight loss is like bumps. But the trend over time is a downward one. That's what we want to focus on. That's what we want to, see and achieve over time. But it's not going to happen if you're constantly like self-sabotaging yourself and making yourself feel bad and throwing yourself off your game, right? And quitting. So that's what you need to do, is just keep doing what you've been doing. Like stay the course, follow the plan, trust the process. Don't let it throw your like entire mood off for the day, right? And in doing so, you're going to continue. Like at the end of the day, it comes from a place of like understanding what's actually going on with the scale, detaching your self worth from what the scale says, and then also just having like the mental wherewithal to just like weather that like short period of time where it's happening. So like the scale isn't the end all be all. Like that is like a fact. Like especially because like as you're like if you're doing strength training, like you're gonna be building muscle too. Like you're like the same person can look and feel completely different at the same weight depending on how they got there, right? So yeah. Other than that, that's all I got for you guys today. I hope that this was helpful. I hope that you guys got some value from this. I hope that this kind of helps, give you like a framework to, what to focus on and how to work through your struggles the next time that the scale might say something that you don't necessarily like or agree with. And because it's going to happen, it's going to happen at some point in your fitness journey. It will happen. You are going to put in a shit ton of work, and the scale is going to tell you that you gained weight or you didn't move at all. And I don't want you to get disappointed and quit. I want you to be like, oh, okay, that's cool. I know in my mind I did everything right that I was supposed to do. And because of that, next week's going to be better. And honestly, oftentimes when that happens, I just tell my clients to weigh themselves in a couple of days and then get back to me, because by that point, the fluctuation's probably going to be over with. So that's something you could do too, is like just weigh yourself a couple days later and just kind of see where you're at. And then if it's still kind of like funky, just don't do it until the next week. And I guarantee you, if you're doing everything right that you should be doing, you're going to see progress. That's how this works. So hope you got value from this. Other than that, that's all I got for you guys today. Sorry, this was a bit of a long one, but I wanted to kind of go into detail about it. But yeah, if you got value from this, please feel free to give this video a like. Helps other people see it. Leave a comment. Let me know your number one takeaway. If this made sense, drop some, say makes sense. Drop some fire in the comments. That helps, again, with the algorithm, helps other people see this. Hashtag replay for watching this later time. Thank you for tuning in. I hope this was valuable, and I will talk to you all later. See you guys.